I fade out. And go to fade out. And then that's all queued up for 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
20? 20. It's a lot of pressure, dude. It's a lot of pressure.
Never in my life did I think I would be known for doing a twirl. Good morning. How is everyone this morning? Yes, you are magnificent. I'm so grateful to have you here. Welcome to Tucson New Thought. Let's start our day with this understanding that love is in the air.
Feel free to dance.
Love is in the air. Everywhere I look around, love is in the air, every sight and every sound. And I know that I'm not being foolish, I know that I'm being wise, and it's something that I must believe in, and it's there when I look in your eyes. In the whisper of the trees, love is in the air, in the thunder of the sea. And I know that I'm not just dreaming, I know that I'm feeling sane, and it's something that I must believe in, 'cause it's there when I call out my name. Love is in the air, in the rising of the sun. Love is in the air, when the day is nearly done. And I know that it's not an illusion, I know what I see must be true, and it's something that I must believe in, 'cause it's there when I reach out to you. Love is in the air, everywhere I look around. Love is in the air, with every sight and every sound. And I know that I'm not being foolish, I know that I'm being wise, and it's something that I must believe in, and it's there when I look in your eyes. Love is in the air, love is in the air, love is in the air, love. Wow, right? We finally got into the groove on the final Sunday of the month on that song. It's all perfect. Oh my goodness. I'm just reveling in this magnificent, upbeat energy right now. Doesn't it feel good? So, there are people who are new in the room today, and they're probably thinking, wow, they are crazy. But, part of my philosophy when it comes to spiritual practice and enlightenment is that we can be enlightened and entertained at the same time. and we should revel in that knowledge and revel in the notion that, it doesn't all have to be I mean, yes, if that works for you, but we should be entertained too. Let's have a good time. That's what I think Sunday is all about. It's about having a good time. So, welcome to Tucson New Thought. If you are here for the first time, I am Reverend Jonathan Zenz. I am the founding spiritual director of this magnificent, high-energy, vibrant community, and it is such a pleasure to have you here. We are here to create a world that works for everyone. That is the vision of our organization, and we engage this vision through our mission, which is to provide practical tools for personal transformation and awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Yeah, doesn't that sound like a good thing? Yes. Well, actually, I haven't. So that's our logo. But here's what I want you to know: that I know a truth about each and every one of you. And if you've been here before, you've heard me explain this truth. But if you've been here before, let's take a moment to, catch the eye of somebody who's maybe here for the first time, and let them know what we know about them, and it is this: you are magnificent. You are magnificent is the absolute truth, and we know that about you because it is an inherent truth of this infinite, divine, creative power, which is what we are here to deepen into our understanding and knowledge of. There is one power, one presence, one infinite creative source for all that exists. We are all part of that. I call that power love. Some people call it God, some people call it infinite wisdom, some people call it universal presence, some people call it spirit. I like to call it love because that is really what resonates in my heart in the understanding of what this thing is. So we know that you are magnificent because this thing itself is magnificent, and so you are a reflection of each and every one of us. So what I would love for all of us to do is to exclaim, I am magnificent. I am magnificent. That is the truth. Take a moment to greet your friends and neighbors. Let them know their magnificence in your own unique, individualized way. And I do want to say hello to everybody who is watching online. Let you know that I see you. I'm grateful for your presence here, and you are magnificent. Magnificent. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, sir. You are very huggable. Even if you broke my glasses.
About as loud as it goes. Hello. I'm grateful that Lori is helping me out today with this ceremony that we do every week. I never quite know where to be. You know what? I'm going to try something new. Change it up. I'm going to be over here today.
I like that.
Yeah, this works today, yeah? I'm not going to be here all day.
It's just momentary.
Yeah. Every week we do this ceremony Sorry, it just got me today. We do this ceremony called lighting the flames of faith. And this has become one of the more important aspects of what we do every Sunday for me personally, as you can tell, because I'm really emotionally connected to this. This ceremony is rooted in this understanding that all faith traditions, all spiritual ideologies, all religions, they're all born out of one thing, and that is love. And when we acknowledge this and know this, we can live in greater harmony and cooperation, irrespective of a difference in our belief. And so with each candle that we light, that is what we are knowing. We are rooting our understanding that that divine golden thread of love is infused in and expressing as everything. And so we light a candle first for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. And this final candle we light is a candle which represents the healing of any circumstance which requires divinity to be revealed. For that is the true nature of healing, the revelation of the divine love in everything, all circumstances. And so this is your candle for whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. Thank you, Lori. The candle to your right is our peace candle. And we keep this candle consistently illuminated with this understanding, that as we keep it illuminated all the time, it is a reflection of the consistent illumination of peace in our hearts. And when we find ourselves in touch with that, we express peace in our world and we welcome peace into our experience. And so that is why we keep that candle lit all the time. We honor this candle with these modified words, the prayer for protection by James Dillett Freeman. So if you would please say this with me. Truly, the light of peace surrounds us, the love of peace enfolds us, the power of peace protects us, and the presence of peace watches over us. Wherever we are, peace is. And so it is. We sing a song before, yeah. This is Lori's, so it's Lori's first time helping out in this fashion today, so there's, some things. Ah, you've led her astray, William. I'm going to invite you to just relax right where you are and take to heart that notion that love, peace, beauty, joy, power, it's all rooted at the core of our center and explodes forth into this thing called life, this experience, this magnificent thing that we're all part of. None of us are separate from it. We are all whole and complete in the here and now. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. And so it is. Each week, it is my pleasure to be inspired by members of this community. And each week, someone comes up and offers a reading, a reflection, and leads us in our monthly affirmation. And today, for the first time, grateful for her presence, and I look forward to hearing what she has to say, is Lori Hayes. So please welcome Lori.
Good morning. And thank you for your energy. The vibration that you bring is what makes this celebration what it is. Whether you're watching us or whether you are here with us, it is your energy that brings that vibrational spark to us. It's what helps us grow, it's what illuminates us, it's what guides us. I wanted to thank you for that this morning, for your presence here. But I also wanted to address what is it in us that we vouched or said we were going to do this new year. What were those resolutions? Do you remember the ones you made? The ones that we were going to keep? Did any of those have to do with more meditation, more exercise? Did they have to do with watching what you ate? The reason I am bringing that up is because those are the ones we're used to. Those are the ones that we'll say we're more drawn to. But what about the things that we assimilate in our body, that are old truths, old beliefs, things other people have told us was right action for us? What about those old tapes that we are still digesting, that still give us heartburn, that didn't feel right then and they don't feel right now? It's important for us to know that what we absorb, what we take in, is very important. And I'm not just speaking nutrition. I'm not just speaking what you drink. What is it that you think? What is it that you believe? Different dimension in our lives. And those truths may not serve us any longer. We have truths to share that are our truths, our belief. And they are valid. And they are sacred because they are your truths. And that is what we need to acknowledge. When we look in that mirror, are we still hearing the old bullies? Are we still hearing negative thoughts? Or can we embrace ourselves, looking in those mirrors, looking in those eyes, and truly seeing and feeling the magnificence of who and what you are? Not just saying the words, not just believing the words, feeling the words. Can you feel your preciousness? That where you sit is precious because you're sitting there? Nothing you need to do, no titles or degrees I want to see. But your precious vibration is adding to the vibration in the whole of Mother Earth. It is your energy that is sustaining and reinforcing the good, the peace, the loving. For those of you not feeling quite inspired or your pilot light's a little dim, life does that sometimes. We've been there. How do you get that pilot light to get a little brighter, to feed you better? Think of that candle. It illuminates. It doesn't sit there and say, I'm not bright enough. There are stronger flames in this world. I've seen blasts that are brighter. It is enough. And your pilot light is loving you. Enough the way you are right here, right now. That is perfect. You've gone through a lot of experiences to become who and what you are right here, right now, and it is connecting with all the other vibrations. And like energy draws like energy, and you will continue to move and evolve and move in other spaces in your life as you continue to honor who and what you are just the way you are. Guard what you tell yourself. Are you gentle with yourself? If you were to meet right now someone who has been through every life experience that you have been through, and you could see them smile and going out there and being positive and raising someone's vibration, wouldn't you think that was pretty remarkable? And yet we hold ourselves to such a level that we don't see that we are walking miracles, that we are truly gifts of the divine, and that each and every one of us matter. Remember that. Expand your energy. It is next to the energy of the person next to you. You know not what gifts they bring. But trust me, there are gifts in each and every individual, or they would not be called to be here, right now. Honor the sacred within you. Honor the divine. Where you stand is sacred ground because you are there. And guard your thoughts. Guard what you believe. Love yourself with such a depth and truth that nothing but good thoughts can come towards yourself. And those good thoughts emanate, vibrate, manifest. Only love has the manifesting energy. It needs to start with self-love before we can share it out there. And you are all worthy because you are. I leave that with you and bless you.
The affirmation.
There's an affirmation written up there. I want you to feel it, embrace it, become it, bring it to life. Don't just state it with your lips. And let's do this. I am lovable, loving, and loved infinitely. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm done. You know, I am grateful to you for illuminating my life right now. And I think this is the perfect next part of this experience. Something's calling me. Something's calling me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me. Something's calling me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Feels like I'm walking on marbles. I can't still the earth beneath my feet. And is my head in the clouds, my naked legs left dangling? I can feel my heart begin to pound. And everybody said, something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. A long dark night, my soul it wanders. I can't see the light that moves me. If love is everywhere and everything that I belong, Spirit gently wakes me from my sleep. Joy is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Compassion's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. My faith is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Peace is calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. Love is calling me, and I'm grateful like I've never been before.
Thank you. Thank you. There are, well, I heard it. There are people who know that song that are in the room. It's a song by Jamie Lula, who is well, for me, he's a luminary in the New Thought music world. And I'm grateful that he's a friend of mine, and he has, well, I'll just let you in on a little secret. He and I are working out a plan for him to be here in November. So it's a little while away, but we're working on a plan. Now, if you do know that song, you will note that there's a whole section of the song that I left out. And there's a reason why I left it out, because it's not that I dislike his music writing, it's not that I dislike the song, it's just that there's a pleading section of this song where it's as though he is pleading to something outside the self. And that has always, I love this song, and it's just that part has always kind of tweaked me in an interesting way that didn't quite resonate, and so I chose to leave it out. Forgive me, Jamie. But it also brings up this idea that if that is the point where you are, because for me, when we're pleading to something outside the self, that for me is saying there is something into which we can express our hope for something better. And if that's the point where we are at, then allow ourselves to revel in the notion that there is hope. Because sometimes that's as far as we can go. And hope gets a bad rap in this philosophy a lot of the time because, there are those hoity-toity people who go out there and say, well, you should just know the truth. Well, it's not always easy to know the truth, is it? No. So if hope is where you are at, allow yourself to be there. Let yourself off the hook. Let yourself off the hook. Ernest Holmes wrote this: when we become conscious of our oneness with universal good, beliefs in evil, sin, sickness, limitation, and death tend to disappear. Those notions are all limitations in mind. That's it. They all start in mind. In the first celebration, we talked about the science of mind, because that was the random reading that came up. We talked about the science, which this is not a science. I don't know if you know that. But it is a science in this particular fashion that, as I talked about in the 9 o'clock gathering, that as I experience my life, the world is my laboratory to experiment. And as I do the conscious work of deepening, as I do the conscious work of aligning myself, as he says, conscious of my oneness with and as universal good, I get to see the results of that experimentation. And here's what I have found, that I can demonstrate good all the time when I know who I am. When I'm in conscious alignment and awareness of my understanding that my identity is divine, that my identity is love, that my identity is God. That's the identity that I think we should all take to heart more and more and more and more. Because any place where we think that we are separate from, that is the degree to which we have limited the experience of our life. Do you know how magnificent you really are? And don't just give it lip service. Oh, I do. Yes, I do. But not really. When you exclaimed before, I am magnificent, was there a small voice in the back of your head that doubted that in any way? Deepen into your awareness of that small voice, because that small voice is there to illuminate for you something in your belief system that can be addressed. And as we address those things, those ideas, those beliefs that we have embodied below the level of awareness that say, I am limited, I believe in some level, and this is, remember, we root these things below the level of awareness, really important, that to the degree that we believe in evil, that we believe in missing the mark, which is how we refer to sin, if we believe that sickness is a definite thing that should be experienced in our life, if we believe in limitation, if we believe that death is a construct, then we will experience those things. That's what we will experience. It is time for us to move past any limitation in mind. Every single limitation in mind. We must let it go. From heartache, have any of you ever experienced heartache? Wow, that was like the last little bit of breath coming out of my lung.
That's not how heartache feels.
Right? That's like, oh, heartache. Have any of you ever experienced heartache? Have any of you ever been around a religious scientist who's basically seen you experiencing your heartache and they go, well, what's in your thought? What's in your mind? What's going on in your mind? I freaking hate that. I almost said a really inappropriate word. There's a little part of me that wants to say, in my real life, I have the mouth of a trucker. But this is my real life. Here's the grand truth about heartache. This is what I love, because I've experienced heartache in my life. I've experienced very, very serious heartache in my life. Heartache allows us to experience revolution. Heartache allows us to experience revolution, because when we find that we are in that space of heartache, something new must be born, because the nature of the divine is always forward-moving and always evolutionary. It is never devolving. But when we are in that space of heartache, the degree to which we think, oh, I'm devolving into something, into a puddle of goo, I don't know. There is revolution within the construct of heartache that can then lead us to resolution for something new in our lives. But it is up to each and every one of us to take charge of that notion, to take charge of the understanding that we are the point of power. Every single one of us is the point of power. And just like that light, thank you for mentioning that, Lori, just like that light, we are illuminated right here and right now. And we don't need to be bigger than anything else. We don't need to consider ourselves a dim light. We are the infinite light at the level of our expression of it. As Rumi says, we are not a drop in the ocean. We are the entire ocean in a drop. It's the same with that light. We are not the infinite light. We are the infinity of light within our own illumination. So if you are ready to step into revolution and ultimately resolution for something more magnificent in your life, say yes. Yes. That means we can resolve that which is bad in mind. It is not the responsibility of anything outside the self. Boy, I'm on a roll today. It is nothing out there that has anything to do with who we choose to be right here in this moment. Our responsibility is to be the good, to express our divine nature. That is our responsibility. We call that being God. There is a shift that is happening in New Thought centers, where there is an explicit statement being made more and more and more, that I think for a very long time there was a fear that people had because there was going to be a misunderstanding. But I am here to say we must be able to make this statement and understand it for what it is. The statement is this: I am God. And so are you. You know, I had dinner at William and Anita's on Friday night. Thank you, by the way. My husband and I went to William and Anita's for dinner, and we had this discussion, and William was telling me the story about how, he has discussions, and I have these discussions too, so we have a similar group of people around us, apparently. People who have this notion that there is somehow separation will say, well, how can you believe that you are that which is? And I say, well, let's use logic. Every philosophy that teaches a concept of God teaches that God is infinite. Right? Yeah. Right? God is everywhere. And in fact, we talked about the Baltimore Catechism. Where is God? God is everywhere. God is everywhere. I talk about the Baltimore Catechism like I was Catholic. I did not grow up Catholic, but I know about it. So anyway, God is everywhere. God is infinite. There is no place where God is not. Have you ever heard that? Yeah. So why would we separate ourselves from that notion? Because if we say that we are somehow separate from, then what we are saying is not only are we finite, but then God is finite as well. There is no separation. God is not a being. God is the energy of beingness. So we must reframe our understanding of God to not think of it as that white bearded man on the cloud, because that's not the truth. God is the white bearded man who is sitting on the subway next to you. I used to live in New York. I'm like, subway. Like that just rolls off my tongue. In New York, Toronto, and I did actually take the subway in LA, which used to always freak me out because I thought, gosh, if there's an earthquake when I'm on the subway, that's the last place I want to be is underground. Anyway, God cannot be owned. That's another thing I want to make very clear. God cannot be owned. And you know what? A lot of philosophies, a lot of faith traditions, they claim to own the concept of God. That their God is right. Right? Well, you ready for this? God cannot be owned, not even by us. What if we're wrong? What if we're wrong? It's going to be quite an eye-opening experience when I go up to heaven and I'm standing before St. Peter at the pearly gates. You mean I got it wrong? Or maybe I don't even get up there. You mean I got it wrong all this time? God cannot be owned by any religious ideology. It just can't. God is. That's really the truth. So I was at the, so it's so funny you mentioned being gay. Yes, I am gay.
Sorry to out.
Well, I did talk about my husband, yeah. So I lived in Toronto for about 6 years, and the LGBTQA plus celebration, the Pride celebration, they just call it Pride. They don't give it any of the letters. It's just Pride. First of all, it lasts an entire month. kind of the city almost shuts down in Toronto. It is a massive celebration. But there is a week where they shut down not Queen Street, they shut down Church Street, right in the Wellesley area, and they have a street fair, and there's stages and bands and everything. Everybody goes in such a good time. We're all partying, and we're dancing even more so than I was dancing in the first song today, and we just dance and we have a good time and everything. And the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto, where I used to serve as the spiritual director, for the first couple of years I was there, we would go out and we would get our booth in the street fair, and we would talk to people because, we want to bring everyone into the fold. And for a couple of years, we had this sign that the concept of this sign has actually made its way around a lot of different centers and a lot of different in a lot of different ways. And I see it as a meme now, that gets passed around social media. But the sign essentially said, it was headlined this: "The top 10 reasons the Center for Spiritual Living Toronto is for you." And I could very, very easily substitute and say, "The top 10 reasons Tucson New Thought is for you." And we had a whole top 10 list. One of them was, "You're spiritual but not religious." Right? So many people identify like that. And we claim to be spiritual but not religious, even though we come to church on Sunday. Another one of them was, "You dig Buddha, Jesus, Yogananda, and Lady Gaga." Another one of the top 10 reasons: you honor all paths. Another reason, this is one of my favorites: your therapist told you you should find some place to go. Hey, my therapist once told me I should find some place to go. And it was very interesting. People would come up and they would, they would keep their distance a little bit, but they would see the sign and they would read that sign. And they would inevitably come up because there was also a big sign that had a picture of me. It said Reverend Jonathan Zenz, spiritual director. So it was very clear who I was in that booth. And they would come up to me and say, "So here's the deal, though. I'm a Christian." Like, well, how is that an issue? One of my favorites, though, was somebody who actually came up and said, "I go to a Christian church, but I'm Jewish." I'm like, okay, that was one of my favorites. Here's what I love, was this opportunity to say, every time you use the word "but," you've now created a limitation in your life. You've negated anything that precedes the statement you make when you say "but." I really love this. It's really a beautiful concept and a really lovely ideology, but I'm a Christian. See? And they're basically saying, this resonates with me, and I can't accept it. And this speaks to the belief. It speaks to the belief. 29 years ago, wow. Almost 29 years ago. 29 years ago this summer, I went to my first Pride event at Hippie Hill. Anyone who's from Tucson is like, oh, yeah. In Himmel Park, that's where it used to be. Now they do it over in Reed Park. And it used to be in the middle of summer, and I'm so grateful that they've changed it to the fall, because, boy, I'll tell you, the middle of summer in Tucson, when you're outdoors having a celebration, it is a bit much. So we were at Hippie Hill, and there were so many people there. In fact, Toronto blew my mind because it was so akin to the hundreds of people that would show up in Tucson, not the tens of thousands of people that would show up to the events in Toronto. And, when I left Tucson and I went to New York and I would participate in the Pride celebrations there, and it was so much fun, and something changed within me. After I left New York, I created a "but" in my life. It was basically this notion: I'm gay, but I don't really resonate with that community. And so when I moved to LA after I left New York, I never once went to LA Pride. I did not involve myself in the community there. I was very rooted in the theatrical community because that was my passion. I wanted to reject, essentially, an aspect of me. And I only bring this up because it's sort of the same thing that the people who say, I love what you've written there, but I'm a Christian. It's the same thing. A rejection of an aspect of truth that is at the core of each and every one of us. You don't have to be gay to come out. In fact, one of the most powerful coming outs I've ever had in my life was to come out as a spiritual person. Because that freaks people out, especially in the gay community. Like, what? Yeah. You know, I sing with Reveille, the men's chorus here, and there are people who are suspect of me because I'm a minister in that room that I experience every single week. And it's just a reminder that we all have our stuff, and the degree to which I am experiencing it, it is a reflection of what is happening in my mind, and the degree to which I live in the buts in my own life. And as I have deepened into my acceptance of myself more and more and more, I recognize that all of the colors of my life are the things that make me. Every aspect of my beingness, every aspect, whether I call it good or call it bad, it's all what makes me. So what makes you? What makes you? I loved this. Well, it's hard to see in this light. I loved this image. If you're on Facebook or you get our emails, this image is a lot more beautiful. I decided to talk today and call my message The Full Spectrum with that notion in mind, that we are each and every one of us living our own experience of being the full spectrum. And any place, any aspect of that where we dim ourselves, we are not emitting pure light any longer. And so our work is to emit the pure light, free of condemnation, free of discrimination, free of any notion of less than in our lives. So those aspects of my beingness that I rejected for so long are all part of that infinite spectrum that makes up the truth of me. What makes you? This is rhetorical. What makes you? What are the things in your life that make up you? And start to look at the things that you have perhaps rejected about yourself and deepen into this understanding of why you may have rejected them and what you can do now to perhaps accept them, know that they are the truth of you, whether you call them good or bad, but know that you are in charge of how they express in your experience. I think it is time to honor all the things that got us here. Because here's the deal. You can never get rid of your story. So many people try. They try to get rid of the story. You can release the hold that the story has on you, but you will always be the culmination of your story, everything that got you to this point. That will never cease to be. The past is in the past, but if you drag that story into your present, you will continue to create the circumstances of that story. So you get to decide. You get to decide. I think it is time we honor the things that got us here. Because here's the thing. If you want to reject any negative aspect about the things that got you here, then you must be willing to reject the positive things that got you here as well. Because you're basically saying, I reject it all. If I reject any part of it, you must reject it all. So let's stop rejecting. Let's start accepting and know who we are in this moment moving forward. Let go of the hold the past has on you and know who you can be now. And now. And now. Del Shores is a playwright. He lives in Los Angeles, and he's got some movies that have been made. A lot of his work is rooted in his upbringing in Texas, in the Baptist church, and he is a gay man, so you can imagine what that might have been like for him. He wrote this really beautiful line that really is the spark of inspiration for me today. He wrote this. He said, "Could it be that this life, this existence, is like a beautiful stained glass window, and our beliefs, their beliefs, everybody's beliefs, our makeup, our skin color, our sexual orientation is right. And that God is the light that shines through that stained glass window, and all the color, all the beauty is created because of our differences. Imagine if we really lived that notion. Imagine what this world can be. I say it all the time. I don't know that it's really heard. I say it all the time. We are unique. We don't need to be like anybody else, but we have a society that's saying you must be like everybody else. We don't need to be like anybody else. Be you. Be the most magnificent you can be. You are part of this full spectrum, and without you, it is not pure in its expression of light. So while we have a full spectrum ideology that is existing within each and every one of us, that is true for the universal wholeness as well. And the degree to which you dim your own light is the degree to which the universal wholeness cannot experience itself as whole any longer. We must step into being the wholeness. To believe that we need to be like anybody else and dim our light for any purpose is the path to misery and discontent. Let me tell you, because I've done it. I've done it. It sucks. Now, if you might be sitting here thinking, but I know all of this, and I live this. That is absolutely magnificent. That is wonderful. But begin to have the wherewithal to look at the places where, although you state that you live it, where it might be missed a little bit. One more reference today with one of my favorite movies. I was obsessed with this movie when I was 16 years old, Dead Poets Society. And there's a scene where the character, Robin Williams, he plays the teacher. He gets all the students out into the courtyard, and he says, start walking around. They start walking in a circle, and then they're all start marching in time. And he hasn't gotten all the students out there, but they're all, those who are in the circle are all going around marching in time. And the students who are standing on the sidelines, they're watching that, and eventually they start clapping in time. And the whole point of this is to say, he said to them, essentially this, I don't have the exact dialogue written down, but it was essentially this. What is it that led you to be marching in time with each other? What is that thing that made you not express uniquely? And he said, and if any of you who are standing on the sidelines think, well, I would have done it differently, then you have to ask yourself why you were clapping. It is very easy to fall into those habits. It is very easy to fall into the consciousness of the collective. It is very easy. It is not as easy to constantly step forth and say, I am the light, and I stand for what I choose to stand for, and I am going to express exactly how I decide to be, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. That's hard. It takes guts. But it is our birthright to express our uniqueness. Ernest Holmes, I'm going to go back to that first quote. Free yourself forever from the thought that God may be pleased by a life of sacrifice, that the world is any better because of your misery. Each of us is a unique facet of the creative source. Our lives are a full spectrum of experience that makes us magnificent. Who we choose to be, the way we choose to live in these experiences, we are made more whole because of the choice. The oneness is the pure light. The colors that make up that light are each and every one of us. It is our individualized expressions that make up the pure light. Without you, pure light could not exist. So go out and be more resolute in the way you choose to be in this world. Express yourself uniquely, magnificently as you, more and more and more. Stand resolved with me today to be proud that you are part of the universal spectrum. And so it is. And as we extend ourselves into this notion, yes, that the good is present right here and right now. It is present within each and every one of our hearts. We have this energy of love that is at the core of our beingness. And we can metaphorically understand that as we express it, we are actively sending it out into the world. So let us settle into that notion right here and right now.
I send my love
Over the mountains, I send my love. Over the sea, I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. And so it is. Thank you, Anita. I'm going to invite you to take out whatever it is you're offering the center today in terms of a gift, a contribution. Do you want to talk about this? All right. William always wants to talk about this, and I'm happy to have William talk about it. Please welcome William Summers, the Vice President of our Leadership Council.
Thank you. So I actually listened to Lori this morning. Thank you, by the way. You were magnificent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Reverend Jonathan. And so I have a truth coming up in me, and I'm going to have the guts to stand up here and say it.
Oh,
I like that.
have at it.
Okay. This is a time of the service where many churches say it's offering time. If they're a little more aware, maybe it's the giving time. Many in the congregation think it's the shakedown time. But all those things carries a little bit of a negative connotation to me. So I'm going to stand up here and tell you that right now, today, I'm claiming for Tucson, New Thought, all that's in the past. When the basket comes around this morning, it's gratitude time.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And with that, how about we read our gratitude statement?
Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that Spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly.
I am grateful.
Thank you. So as the baskets go around, let's celebrate that notion. If you want to get up and move, you can. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Once again,
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. In the room, we have to resolve that chord, don't we? So let's just take this opportunity. You can sit down if you like. Let's just take this opportunity to reflect and know that what has been collected here is the energy of love in form, and that love is all that exists. This is love in action. And so I know that what has been collected here blesses this time, this space, this perfect experience of Tucson New Thought. And as it makes its temporary stop in the greater circulation of currency, I know that we live in this infinite flow of spreading this vision of creating a world that works for everyone, and this helps us do that. I know that these funds are utilized with the highest integrity of the leadership of this organization, and on their temporary stop, they do magnificent things. And so I live in gratitude for this. I simply relax, release, let go, allow, and know it to be so, as together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Lights, Apple TV, Darwin.
Good morning, everyone. Here are your Tucson New Thought announcements for Sunday, February 23rd, 2020. Join us this coming Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. for our midweek spiritual practice. Reverend Jonathan and Christy will guide us deeper into a sense of self. It's a night of music, personal reflection, poetry, and affirmative prayer on Wednesday evening beginning at 6 o'clock p.m. Are you willing to be of service on Sundays? To sign up to be of service as a Sunday volunteer, speak to a member of our Leadership Council, or simply sign up online at Tucson New Thought. You can sign up by clicking on the volunteer schedule item in the top menu. For more information on everything that's happening at Tucson New Thought, check out our website at tucsonnewthought.org and like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Just search for Tucson New Thought on these various platforms. Thank you for being here and sharing your magnificence with us.
Thank you, Darwin. Yeah, two things in addition to that. I mentioned this in the first gathering. I have a project, an office project that I need some administrative support with. If you are interested in helping me see through this project, it's a short-term thing, but I need someone who can be consistent in that. I would love for you to let me know. Just talk to me today and we'll find the time to make that work. I'll tell you all the details about it, but it is basically sit down at a computer and do some data entry kind of project. So I would love for that. Also, the Taizé, which is this Wednesday, I am going to root that Taizé with this consciousness that as it is Ash Wednesday and the Christians are going into their time of Lent, we're going to allow ourselves to understand Lent as let's eliminate negative thinking. Yeah, and we will step into that for 40 days and 40 nights leading up to Easter. What do you say? I'm going to say thank you to Don Zenz, my father, for being our technical support today. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to our greeters, Ruth and Ruth, who are, the other Ruth is in helping with the collection. Thank you for being our greeters this morning and welcoming everybody with bright lights and bright eyes and wonderful hugs and such love. I want to say thank you to Lori for that magnificent offering. Yeah. Today is potluck, so if you brought a dish to share, I am so grateful that you have brought a dish to share. If you did not bring a dish to share, do not think that you cannot partake, because we always have lots of food and lots of food left over. So please stick around for potluck and social time with our community. I do, of course, want to say thank you to Christy and to Mike, our magnificent Tucson New Thought band. Yes, we're a band. We're a band.
Thank you to Jonathan.
And I especially want to say thank you to all of you for being here and shining your magnificent light. We're going to end the day by letting our love flow. There's a reason for the Valentine sky, and there's a reason why I'm feeling so high. Must be the season when that love light shines all around us. So let that feeling grab you deep inside and send you reeling where your love can't hide, and then go stealing through the moonlit nights with your lover. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show, and you'll know what I mean. It's the season. Well, let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. That's the reason. Well, there's a reason for those warm, sweet nights, and there's a reason for the candle lights. Must be the season when those love lights shine all around us. So let that wonder take you into space and lay you under its loving embrace. Just feel the thunder as it warms your face. You can't hold back. Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show, and you'll know what I mean. It's the season. Oh, let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love bind you to all living things, and let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. That's the reason. Just let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. That's the reason. Just let your love shine, and you'll know what I mean. That's the reason. Make it a magnificent week, everyone.